has to be reasonable, but it should be what a comparable facility would charge, or a home care agency, or some third party providing the same level of care that you're providing.
In addition, I would say just because someone has a diagnosis of Alzheimer's doesn't mean that they are not competent to sign an agreement. There's some first moment when someone has a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, and when we can't go into details, it's a fact-sensitive issue, but when we do have someone who has a diagnosis and we believe that they're competent to do a document, it's our practice to have the doctor present, the treating physician present at the time that we sign the agreement, and we have the treating physician sign an affidavit. He'll sit there, or she will sit there while we discuss the agreement, and then the doctor will be both the witness and will sign an affidavit as to the level of competency.
And the level of competency, the degree that Alzheimer's is affected.
I'll tell you one other thing. No matter what the level of compensation that's paid, it's not going to be enough.
Okay.
That's true.
And
probably it's not
like the executive.
It's a very hard job.
Yeah, like the executrix of an estate. Let's go to Genevieve next. Genevieve from Trenton, New Jersey. Go ahead, Genevieve. What's on your mind?
Well, I have a problem with my husband has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And I am 15 years younger than he is. Right now, he's retired for a while. I'm still working. Now, I've got a, sort of an IRA. It's called a deferred comp.
Yes.
I'm still paying into that. If he has to go into a home, do I lose that? And
you're from New Jersey. I don't know if you caught the first half of our program, but that's one of the key issues now going down in New Jersey. If you were in Pennsylvania or New York, correct me guys if I'm wrong, you would not lose it.
In Pennsylvania, she would not lose it.
You would not lose it in Pennsylvania or New York. In New Jersey, they're still deciding. This is one of the key issues. And when is this case coming down again?
End of July.
End of July?
Probably,
Mistrick.
yeah.
So, you know what? You've almost got to continue to watch the newspapers, because this is, again, this is front burner issue for elder law attorneys in New Jersey, and for people in your position, yeah, because depending what happens with this case, does she continue to pour money into her IRA?
Sure.
How long, let me ask you a question,
There are
Genevieve.
other ways to do it.
How long, and Tom's going to address this in just a moment, but how far along, if you will, this is a tough way to ask these kind of questions, but how far along would you say your husband is in this process?
The beginning.
The very beginning.
The beginning.
Right.
Okay. Well, first off, what kind of
Time to do planning.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Time to do planning.
what kind of advice would you folks give Genevieve right now? What should she be doing right now, aside from looking at the paper and find out what's going to happen with this case in July?
Well, I think the first thing you have to look at is, if it is at the onset of Alzheimer's, is whether or not he can sign, your husband can sign a durable power of attorney. Because although it's an Alzheimer's is a degenerative disease that affects the mind, if it is the beginning stages, it's still quite possible that a power of attorney could be executed along with healthcare proxy, living will, and other estate planning documents. You're also going to want to sit down with an attorney and discuss financial issues, because is your husband in a nursing home now?
No.
He's at home?
I get that. I had an elder lawyer. I didn't understand that part of it. And I have power of attorney, durable power of attorney. That I've already gone over.
Okay.
But this, I mean, we have very little assets, to be honest with you. I'm working because we have to work. I have to work. And that was one of my biggest fears. I was told that I could only have one car, one wedding ring, $2,000, and his insurance would go, too.
Who's telling you?
I bet you didn't go to a certified elder law attorney, did you?
That's right.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
You probably did not go. This is what we covered in the beginning of the program. It's very important. A lot of people are putting their shingles out today saying, hey, I'm an elder law attorney. Well, that's because so much business is moving into this area of the practice. And again, I can't stress this enough, consumers, you need to contact your local bar associations. You need, when you sit down with an attorney, you have to ask them about their resume. See if they're members of the National Academy of Elder Law Attorneys. See if they're involved in their bar association. All of the folks on the panel tonight have all those credentials. You have the right, regardless of the area of the law we're talking about, whether we're talking about personal injury or bankruptcy. Tonight we're talking about elder law. You have the right to find out what it is they do and how long they've been doing it for. But apparently she's been getting some erroneous information.
Find out, go to somebody who's certified, a certified elder law attorney. There are quite a few of them now in New Jersey, and you're going to find different answers, I think.
You know, folks, we want to run the survey one more time tonight, so you do get a chance to vote. So here it is. It's a toll-free number, and here's our question. As an elder person, are you satisfied with how your caregiver is handling your legal and business affairs? Vote 1-888, toll-free, 869-VOTE, 8683 are the last 4 digits. Press 1 for yes, press 2 for no, and press 3 for undecided. Let's get to our next telephone call. Who's up next, Kate? Florence is up next. She's from New York. Go ahead, Florence.
Yes, I would like to ask you a question about durable power of attorney.
Yes.
I have a young man that is doing some work for me, and he insists that power of attorney is enough. And someone told me that durable is a very important word, both in the healthcare proxy and in the power of attorney.
Okay, one of our attorneys here will address that.
Durable is important primarily if, for any reason, you move to a different state. But your state requirements will specify whether or not that language must be used. For example, in Pennsylvania, it was required in the past, and in 1993, I believe it was, that requirement was removed, and any power of attorney is considered durable if it's been executed since that time. But this varies from state to state, and you're always safer if you have that language in it.
Okay, so that's a real important factor to have included. You would say get it included?
Get it included.
Okay. Let's get, I'll tell you what, before we get to our next phone call, we want to, Jason, I don't know if you'll have these boards ready for me, but again, we want to thank the firms who joined us. And again, 3 of the practitioners have been with us before. One, Howard, is just joining us for the first time tonight. But again, for literally the millions of homes we reach in the tri-state area, we couldn't do these types of programs without these firms providing their expertise and providing their support for these programs. Brenda McElnay joined us tonight from McElnay and Wanderpolo, again, virtually exclusively in the area of elder law, trust, and estates. And Brenda, in practice for many years, her partner Mary Wanderpolo joined us on the program about 2 years ago. You can contact Brenda's firm in Verona or Rivervale, New Jersey. They also have a New York City site. Call them at 973-239-9595. And that's in the northeastern corridor of New Jersey, if you're not familiar with Verona and Rivervale. Tom Begley joined us tonight from Begley and Fendrick. And again, 3 locations. Tom and his firm have just opened up 2 new locations in the last 2 years or so. Morristown, New Jersey, Princeton, New Jersey, and Avalon. And again, Tom lectures and is authored highly respected in this area of elder law. You can contact attorney Begley at area code 609-235-8501. Nancy Solnick once again joining us from the Greater Philadelphia, Greater Lehigh Valley region of Plymouth meeting, and you can contact attorney Solnick. Again, any elder law trust estates issue, you can contact her at area code 610-828-5665. And again, Howard Crooks joined us tonight, and he is from Littman, Crooks, Roth & Ball. And again, trusts, estates, administration, and certainly elder law issues. Also the co-editor, if I'm not mistaken, of the Elder Law Quarterly newspaper or newsletter that comes out from the New York State Elder Law Bar Association, and again, a player, if you will, in that area, that political but also a very important legal association in New York. You can contact attorney Crooks at the New York or White Plains office. Their telephone number 212-490-2020. And again, if you forget any or all of the numbers we've given you, you can always contact us at Law Journal. We will certainly refer you to the right attorney, to the right people. You can contact us at 1-888 toll-free 78 Law TV, or contact our website, or email us. And let's get back to our next telephone call. We've got some time for a couple more phone calls, and we'll get to your survey right at the end. Jacqueline is up, I think, from Lakewood, New Jersey. Go ahead, Jacqueline.
Hello there. I'm interested in what your people are talking about. My husband passed away almost 5 years ago, and I was only 59 and kept working.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm retired and thinking about my children and grandchildren, and I went ahead and invested in long-term health insurance so that I would be taken care of if, in the event that something happens.
Sure.
Isn't this good?
Yeah, I think it makes
Yes.
common sense, and it's probably
wonderful.
and it's underutilized, is it not? Brenda?
Yeah.
If I may share my feelings on this topic with regard to morality, what we were talking about before is elder law, moral or immoral, Medicaid planning. Our clients are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, some of them, and they when they were solid middle-class citizens, they had car insurance and homeowners insurance. For our client base, there wasn't any long-term care insurance, and now they're either, many of them, too old, or they simply cannot afford it. They can't, or they have health problems. But I believe that long-term care insurance is what we all need to have, just like we have car insurance, disability insurance, life insurance.
You know, financial planners often steer people in that direction, but do attorneys steer people in that direction? Do they?
Yes,
Okay.
we do.
Those of us who are familiar with the field and the problems definitely steer people in that direction. They should have that kind of insurance, but they need to be able to afford it, and they need to be medically qualified to benefit from it.
That's why it's a younger population.
It is a younger population.
I'm in my
Usually,
50s, and I certainly urge anyone
I've
to look at it
had
in their
clients who are
50s.
well into their 70s who are in fairly good health who have been able to get this insurance, and clients who are as old as 80 who have been
My
able
wife
to.
sells it. I believe it.
We have had clients who are in fairly good health, aren't quite comfortable with the premiums. You know, the premiums are going to be high, and they're a little afraid if they just pay this premium, they're going to be short on cash. Some of them have even done reverse mortgages in order to get a line of credit, to know that if they take on this estate protection in the form of long-term care insurance, that there is a line of credit open for them to cover an emergency, because they think that this is taking a lot of the cash out of their available resources.
But Brenda, even for a person who's rated, who has some sort of problem already, medical problem already, the cost of long-term care insurance for an annual premium is still generally less than 1 month of cost of nursing home care.
There's no question. The
depending on
question
the
is whether they have that on an annual basis, and particularly if you have a couple,
Right.
a husband and a wife, that
you double
know,
the
yeah, you're
cost.
doubling
I think
the amount.
you also need to look at the size of the estate of
Sure.
the
Of
couple
course.
who are before you.
course.
If you have marital assets of $50,000 and they're faced with the possibility of $2,000 or upwards of $2,000 as a premium on an annual basis, and they're in their 60s, they could live another 20 years, they could deplete their entire estate on the cost of long-term care insurance and find that they never have to use it. So you really do need to evaluate
to
it
do
on
a
a
balance,
case-by-case
absolutely.
basis. The other thing that I think is very important for our clients to understand with respect to long-term care insurance is that the evaluation made by the insurance company as to whether or not it will pay out on a particular case depends usually on the activities of daily living that an individual is able to carry out, and there's some subjectivity there, so you need to be careful.
Here are the results of this week's survey question. Again, if you're an elder person, are you generally satisfied with the way your caregiver has been handling your legal and business affairs? 78% of you said yes. 20 was something's amiss there. I don't know if that last one is, because that adds up to 110%. But it's 78% of you said yes. 22% of you said no. I'm going to find out from my associate producer if it's 0%. I assume it's 0% said did not know. But again, but actually fairly close to the USA Today survey, which said it was a 2-to-1 ratio. And I know we've had some discussions on the set exactly what does that mean and who's really representing them legally and financially. But at least from the elderly people who contacted us tonight, those are the results, about a 3-to-1 ratio. And again, something we'd all agree on is
That's why we like to practice elder law.
Why is that?
We have happy clients.
Because most clients are happy. And one thing we can all agree on is that an hour is far too short to do it once a year. But again, I want to thank Brenda McElnay and Tom Begley from my state of New Jersey and all the years of experience and also their genteel nature and also their passion when it comes to representing their clients, and Nancy and Howard Crooks for joining us tonight as well from Pennsylvania and New York, respectively. Howard, hopefully we'll see you here again next year.
I'd be delighted to come back.
Great to have you. Again, folks, we welcome your phone calls. We welcome getting email from you. Next week here on Law Journal, we'll be taking a look at medical malpractice and misdiagnosis. So for all of us here at Law Journal, I'm attorney Christopher Naughton. Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week right here on Law Journal. Good night now.